Well, hello good people. It's a rather funny Wednesday afternoon. Been very overcast all day and very wet, but now the sun's threatening to come out. The rain stopped early this morning and I've been moving things around. Fred's landing gear has been cleaned and painted. I'm not going to bother filming that, it's all rather tedious and boring, but that's going to be back on soon, as is the engine, and then we'll carry on with more Fred as he goes together. Of course, Fred's being the squeaky wheel at the moment. He's getting the most attention. But as I had to move the Pietenpol Ford out from under the bench, I thought, why don't we push it outside and get it running? Where the engine was stored under the bench, I had to lean it over rather a lot to get it under and then to get it out again. So I'm a bit worried the oil has come out of the dipper pan and actually run into the sump proper. The dipper pan is about here, but because of tipping it over, it might be rather empty and the sump appears to be very full. So I'm going to drain the oil into a plastic bowl and pour it back in the filler, because that way it goes straight back into the dipper pan and the extra goes over into the sump. It's only run once or twice, so the oil is completely clean. Whilst the oil's draining, let's rig up the header tank again. I've got this stainless steel tank, it's quite useful. We don't use the bullcock, but I can't be bothered to remove it. But it's got an inlet for the hot water and an outlet for the less hot water back to the engine block. I was thinking about putting a pump. I've actually found an electric pump, but I'm not going to bother. Gravity seems to work enough. As long as there's water in the block and it can gob out the boiling stuff, that's fine. I had to chop some tannalized posts up earlier on my table saw, and I thought, well, might as well leave it outside, as it will do for standing the header tank on. Saves getting a workmate out or anything. The oil has just about stopped dripping and the bucket is very full, so my suspicion that the dipper pan was full as well is quite justified. The copper washer is stuck on the sump, so I'll just whiz that back in now. I've got to put the oil back in before I start messing around with water, so I don't go and run some water into the pot of lovely clean oil. I didn't spill any oil, but to avoid a Torrey Canyon moment, let's just put some, just in case anything drips off the bottom of the sump. I'm probably being a dreadful old fusspot here, but with the sump full of oil, the last thing I want to do is give it a good few winds on the starting handle to prime the oil system. Now the pump is in the bottom and it lifts oil. It's not really a pressure pump, it lifts oil up into this chamber. And one of the Pietenpol modifications is a bit of pipe work inside that feeds the centre main bearing and the rear main bearing positively with oil. A bit like a Model B Ford engine. But as well as that oil being fed to the bearings, this whole valve chest fills to a certain level, and that's a drain back into the dipper pan, of course. So the excess always goes into the dipper pan rather than straight back into the sump. Anyway, I'm going to wind the handle a few times and make sure the system is primed up. I think that will do. Well, it's a lash up, but it's a better lash up than last time. Let's see if it leaks. There's a minor amount of drippage from the wooden bung here, but it doesn't matter. It's not going anywhere important. Put spark plugs in and let's see if it goes. Well, very quick wash up. That was a rerun of an earlier run where I forgot to turn the microphone on. So my neighbours got a third engine run and lots of extra noise. Unfortunately, my favourite neighbour has moved away. He's moved to Cape Town. I've driven him out completely. It ran better once I'd adjusted the main jet. This is this adjustable main jet, and it was too weak, and I richened up the idle mixture as well, which made a hell of a difference. It's now raining quite hard, so I'm going to pack up and put things away. The water system worked a treat. I did put another bucket of water in. It steamed away beautifully out of the top pipe, but the block's full of water, so it hasn't overheated at all. Definitely have another run another day. Anyway, I'm really going to pack up now because it's beginning to rain quite hard. Thanks for watching.